This is Nanoism.net, a website devoted to Twitter fiction, a flash fiction format wherein writers tell stories in 140 characters or less. Editor Ben White describes Twitter fiction as the perfect art form for the bleeding edge of the 21st century. Stories to be read on a cell phone. Stories to fit in the cracks of the day. Most intriguingly, White suggests that Twitter fiction is quick as a blink to read. This phrasing is telling, because, perhaps above all else, Twitter fiction is a visual format. Here is a story as Nanoism.net subscribers see it on the screens of their smartphone. Here's how the same story, the entire story, looks mixed in with other tweets. Literary merit aside, what is clear is that Twitter fiction is visual culture, an entire story in the blink of an eye. So how does Twitter fiction fit into the larger social milieu? Jesse Stommel, professor of digital humanities at the University of Wisconsin at Madison and editor of the digital journal Hybrid Pedagogy, is wary of Twitter's impact on language. Consider the tangible violence technology has wrought upon grammar, he writes. Concision nearly to the point of indifference. Violence indeed. Indeed. Can Twitter fiction, then, combat the celebrity idiocy and cat memes that dominate the Twitter sphere? Take Rick Moody's Some Contemporary Characters, a short story not a mere 140 characters in length, but a longer work serialized over 3 days in 153 140-word bursts, each installment crafted by Moody with Twitter's numerical and thus visual constraints in mind. The first and second groups of examples show what a capable writer can accomplish within the form. From the first quotes, "Out there, the same Atlantic Ocean that laps the Outer Banks and pools in Costco Bay, it shimmers in the moonglow, unused," to the references to Dostoevsky, Freud, and Jung in the second and third. But Moody himself gives in to Twitter speak in the fourth and fifth quotes, abbreviating because as BC and using IM and FB in place of Instant Messenger and Facebook. The sixth quote shows evidence even of sentence fragment. It is easy, however, to justify his metafictional concessions in the name of art. And clearly, Moody's is a more substantive use of Twitter than Jose Canseco's above-cited musings on global warming. But was Moody's Twitter fiction a success? For Electric Literature, the online journal that serialized Some Contemporary Characters, yes. The story reached 38,000 readers, far more than any contemporary short story not published in the New Yorker, Harper's, or Esquire. Web traffic at EL.com jumped 300% due to the story, and subscriptions increased by 500%. When all was said and done, Electric Literature gained 10,000 Twitter followers. Moody's response, however, was mixed. In an article in the Wall Street Journal published during the serialization of Some Contemporary Characters, Moody was skeptical of the gimmickry of Twitter fiction, and admitted that while writing the format was fun, novel, it could not replace more traditional form. The format, nevertheless, continues to grow. Last December, Time magazine covered the first ever Twitter Fiction Festival, and is set to cover the second annual affair this fall. Jennifer Egan, herself a Pulitzer Prize-winning author, recently serialized a story via Twitter that was eventually published in The New Yorker. So while it may not be clear whether or not Twitter fiction will assuage the digital-aged ills of grammar and expression 140 characters at a time, it is clear that Twitter fiction is fast becoming a part of our collective visual culture. And if, as Michigan State professors Christine Greenhalgh and Benjamin Gleason suggest, Twitter is changing the way we experience what we read and what we write, one thing is for certain. The more our best authors use Twitter creatively, intelligently, the better.